Hello guys, the walkthrough house here, and I welcome you to White Box Laboratories. This mission is quite long, so sit back and get comfortable. The first thing we do while opening in is just shoot the guard in the booth. As you guys saw, it's very easy. After that, Sam has a little conversation with Victor Cost, his lovely friend, and asks him how to navigate the lab. And we find out that we need to use ventilations, and I sped up the actual navigation part because it seems a little long for entertainment purposes, so I kind of speed it up. You guys can still tell where I went from, and if you guys have a hard time knowing where I went, the directions are very straightforward. After doing so, you'll approach a room. The room has 3 guards in them, and this is usually how I like to approach them. Mark them from the door, and then go back, climb the pole on the left side, approach them from the roof, and at this point I'm assuming none of you guys have execute, so you drop in on one of those guys from death from above, which gives you the execute, then you use the execute on the other 2 people. That way it's a very nice and smooth way of getting rid of those 2. After doing that, you want to use the camera, and after channeling through the different angles the camera has, you want to find the perfect one in which there are guards. Not this one, but this one. So you have 3 hostile scientists and then 4 mobs, and then they have a little argument.
I did. But what he doesn't realize is that we work for Galliard too. You can't. I just did. Now you got a choice. Get back to work. Where you next? Not this one. Need her at the Bravo site. You can have the other as long as it's useful. Finish and start final phase. And the rest of the building. Roll it all back.
What? Can't? This is unacceptable.
You. Keep Poindexter here working. I gotta clean up super nice.
So now, as you can tell, our job is to rescue that last scientist, and we have 3 guards to take out that are protecting that area. After this part is actually very easy, as it may seem. You have a very open area to work with, and the first guard obviously comes in strolling by, doesn't really care to look around much, just looks straight ahead as if there's going to be something there, and then moves right away, and then we just use him, and then mark the 3 guards. In this case I failed to kill the 3rd one, but it wasn't bad. I got a headshot off of him from the distance, and then took care of the final guard. And then Sam goes on to investigate, and we find out that this whole place is there to test an EMP, and Mr. Lucius Gallard, that we heard about in a few minutes ago, is the person who hired Black Arrow and is running the entire business.
Besides letting Black Arrow take over the lab, he collects all the experimental data and wipes it off the rest of the systems. It's bad for workflow, and only he can see the big picture of what we're working on.
What about Lucius Galliard? Where does he fit in?
He's my boss, the owner of the company, and the guy who hired Black Arrow and Robertson to do security.
I'm thinking it might be a good idea to...
He's wearing hipster glasses, just to make a point.
Get me in.
I could get you into the elevator.
Good. Do it, then get out.
Anyway, after doing so, he lets you go through the elevator, but he decides to stay back to help some of his friends. I don't think he can do much.
Good luck.
So we wish him luck, and we move on to the 2nd level. And then comes a very sad part. This part in the game actually made me have pity, which is a very hard thing to do. I'm usually a very pitiless person. It's not necessarily a good thing, but not a bad thing either. But we are approaching the 2nd level, and soon enough the door opens and you'll see an awesome sight. There you go, the person asking for help, and everybody's dead. First thing you want to do right away, move to the left and into this room. I made a mistake here because at the time I forgot. The window on the left can be used to access this room with no troubles, but I forget about that and I enter this window instead. But I take care of the guards quite easily because they're very stupid. As you saw, I moved on to the right to find out that there's actually a window in the room, and hence I'm warning you guys ahead of time. But this room is cleared. It wasn't that difficult. Maybe it's difficult on veteran. If you guys can tell, this game is on medium. So then we rush past these guys and into this room that we have, and the first thing you want to do is climb up this pole right away, make things a lot easier. You could approach the stairs and use some EMP, but I prefer not to do that. That's what I did the first time. Then as I did a little skim of the area before I made this playthrough, I realized there's much easier ways of doing this thing. So as you saw, I dropped down on the person, executed 2 people, and then took care of the guy on the door, and then finally took a headshot on the guy far. Usually you can execute all 3 of them without having any worries, but you know, I don't want to make it too easy for myself, I suppose. Then you climb up the pole on the left side of the room and then come up, and you have 4 guards. You mark all 4 people because that way it becomes very easy to take care of them, as all there is to do is really execute them. So you just press E and then you have all 4 guards taken care of. So that takes care of all the guards in this area. Then you want to move out into this small room, check the weapon stash so that all your weapons and gadgets, if you did use any gadgets, will get refilled. They are infinite, so you don't need to worry about that. And then Grim contacts you saying that she knows you're in White Box, but Sam reminds him that, you know, it's time to talk to Sarah, and then we get to talk to Sarah for the first time.
Dad?
Sarah, is it you? Are you okay?
They told me you were dead, Dad. They told me that you'd been killed.
They told me the same thing about you.
Sorry, Sam.
And there it is. The conversation is pretty deep and long, as you guys can tell, obviously. And then we move through this door. As we can tell, there's a guard there. And we move out of the window. But then here I realized I picked the wrong pistol because I only have 2 execution marks. You want to use the 5.7. 5.7 gives you 4, if fully upgraded, I believe. So I choose the 5.7 and move back into the place. The guard has moved further ahead, but that was my loss. But I give him a headshot and everything's taken care of. Here usually you can mark the 2 people in front if you really want to spin and execute, but you can use the window and make quick work of them. But this time it wasn't so easy because they noticed where I was, so I just went on to the old aggressive methods. But I got, you know, the deal taken care of anyway because they kept approaching the windows. The windows definitely gives you a big advantage. Up here you want to drop down and wait for the guard to approach. This I'm going to slow down because this part, I like this part, and this is one of the better ways of doing it. So as the guard leaves, you want to follow him, and he'll take a big, you know, circle around the room. As you can see, there's 2 guards. Usually you can climb up, and from the roof you can drop down on those 2 people. I like to use a different approach, but the dropping down method usually works the safest, while the bald guard in front of us is away. But you know, you let the guy pass, and you mark these 2 people, and the guy moves on fairly quickly. And you don't really want to execute them because it's not really necessary. I just go for couple of quick headshots, and that usually takes care of them, as you will see. There you go, very nice and easy, very clean. Well, there's nothing clean if there's 2 dead bodies. But the guard has a schedule of taking rounds and rounds and rounds. And you guys know the normal drill. We approach him from the back and we smash his head. Moving on ahead, we have this room where immediately you want to climb up and 4 guards will approach. And you have 4 guards, mark all 3 of them. Mark 3 of them. And the 4th one, well, you'll see what I did to him. Climbing your windows, snatching your people up, trying to rape them. Alright, so you get a free execute right there. Looking down, you want to mark these 4 guards into the other room, jump out this window, and then execute all 4 of them. But I make a mistake here by accident. I don't know what I was doing, so I come back out and finally gain my senses. So mark all 4 of them, and then there's 1 guy left. Just wait for him to arrive, and you execute him, and you get another execute for free. Moving on, now we actually have not much left before we enter the room of Robertson because he has all the information we want. And there it is down below. That's the room Robertson has. You can see Robertson leaving. And we have a short conversation with Grimm, and Grimm tells you what to do and what not.
Now think about making this room a hostile environment for uninvited guests. I might need you to be on that system for a while, and I don't want you interrupted.
Remote detonation mine should do the trick.
So right there I put a mine there, and you'll see why. So as Grimm and Sam have a conversation, as soon as Sam gets done using the computer, he has to defend the computer, and the room is flooded with hostiles. Well, it's not really flooded. The first wave is going to come through the elevator, so hence I put the remote bomb. The second wave is going to come through the door on the right of the elevator. The third wave is going to come through the left. The fourth wave is going to come through the elevator and the right side. I think I'm going to save that. I think I'm just going to say it when they arrive.
Connection goes, I can't reestablish it from here.
So, nobody else gets their hands on this box.
From what I'm seeing, that system could be used to shut down the site's connectivity. I'd be locked out and we'd be out of
That's a
luck.
big computer. I wish I had that
I'd
big of
better
a,
get ready.
you know, like
Companies come.
that's iPad 7 right there. Sorry for all the Apple fans if I hurt their feelings. Defend Robertson's computer. So, first thing I like to do, climb up here right away. They arrive, and whoop! And there's the first wave. Done. The second wave is going to come through the right. And, as you can tell, it's very easy work to do. I kind of messed up here. I wasn't fast enough, but even in that case, it's not that difficult. The third wave is going to come through the door on the left. Throw a grenade, and that's taken care of. And then the final wave is going to, I mean not the final wave, the fourth wave is going to come through the elevator and the, no, just the elevator I'm guessing. So this guy somehow survives, which takes me by surprise, but I, managed to take care of him. Then I throw a grenade there, and there they go. And then my mine gets stuck on the wall instead, so it kind of screws me over. So I just use an EMP to take care of him, and then drop down on this guy. And then go over to the weapon stash to resupply. Throw a grenade in there, takes care of them. Gets 3 kills, which is pretty cool. Drop on this guy, and then shoot this guy. And then we have,
All clear on this side.
a very messy, dead-bodied room. So, just to revise, we have the first wave coming from the elevator, the second wave coming from the door on the right of the elevator, the third wave coming from the door on the left of the elevator, the fourth wave coming from the elevator again, and the fifth wave coming from all 3 doors. If you guys have any trouble, you guys can always look back, and hopefully this does prove useful to you guys. Moving down this pipe, we have a small conversation with Victor asking how useful the EMP is, so it's not really that important a conversation. I like to move right away here and execute these guys, but here I make a mistake. Usually I take care of the other 2 guards that are down below. The 3 guards that are down below, but this time I'm like, hey, let's see if we can actually do it, but we can't. So I use my remote mines and make quick work of those 4 people, make sure you guys take care of them. These are not hard guards, there's no special way of taking care of them. You can always be aggressive and shoot them, and then take cover and shoot them. But, you can also be stealthy, use the pipes to your advantage. So then we use the EMP system to disable the trace that was tracked upon Grimm for hacking into Robertson's computer. Robertson gets fried from the EMP, and we're approaching the end of this mission, really. The building gets broken into, and the first thing I do usually is run into the pipe, go all the way in the back. Don't really bother killing any of these guys, because to me it was not worth my time. It's really fast. And here we have Blind Guy, Mr. Blind Guy on the right moving by, and then we have another Mr. Blind Guy on the right moving by. And that's basically the end of the mission. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed. This has been the Walkthrough House. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.
In the meantime, we'll have an analyst working on Robertson's data.